And good evening, basketball fans. Welcome to the Tochigi Prefecture, the home of the UTSUNOMIYA BREX, for tonight's Japanese B.LEAGUE matchup between the #1 team in the B.LEAGUE, the BREX, and the visitors, the GUNMA Crane Thunders. Well, this indeed could be a quarterfinal matchup. These two teams in the CDs, as we head towards the postseason playoffs, are matched up. The BREX, as mentioned, the #1 team, and after the GUNMA Crane Thunders were in second place in the Eastern Conference, they now have been overtaken by the Chiba Jets. Well, they've got to keep on winning games, avoid the Nagoya Diamond Dolphins chasing them. The GUNMA Crane Thunders, a team that hasn't had any success or any experience within the postseason of the playoffs. But there you can see, standing in #3 in the Eastern Conference. Now, as it works, the top two teams of each conference here in the B-League will automatically qualify for the playoffs, while the positions outside with the two best records make up the wild card. Well, those two teams as of now, Army Cow Seahorses and the GUNMA Crane Thunders. But with only games left here in the B-League, you can definitely see Nagoya Diamond Dolphins. They'll give everything and they'll chase everything that they have. The only team that can catch them to try and make it into the B-League playoffs. No return for the defending champions, Hiroshima Dragonflies. A very disappointing record of 26-30, and at the moment, they're playing against the Shiga Lakes. Well, hello everybody, welcome here to B.LEAGUE International. This is the highest level of professional basketball here in Japan. And indeed, GUNMA Crane Thunders are in town as they'll be taking on the #1 team with the #1 record here in the B-League. Well, the BREX have been on fire as of late. A very emphatic comeback win against Alvak Tokyo here on Wednesday. But of course, you can see the record against Akita Northern Happy Nets. And of course, going up against the Chiba Jets, which, you know, one thing that's been interesting about UTSUNOMIYA, they have struggled traditionally against teams closer to them in the rankings. Well, they split 2 games here against San Antonio Phoenix. And while head coach Zico Coronel, he believes that his team, well, they definitely have the power to go and win the 3rd ever B-League championship. Well, Shinji Takashima had some big 3-pointers on Wednesday against Alvak Tokyo. A bit of a revenge victory for UTSUNOMIYA BREX, after over a month ago disappointingly losing on the road against Dynas Adamites Alvak Tokyo. Well, Takashima, the player to look out for tonight, as now we're going to get set to introduce key players. But now we'll take a look at GUNMA Crane Thunders. And, you know, first of all, a magnificent job of what head coach Cal Milling's done with his team. He was the man who led the Hiroshima Dragonflies to their unbelievable championship run. The semifinals, 4th quarter of Game 3 against Nagoya Diamond Dolphins, and after losing Game 1 against Ryukyu Golden Kings, then defending champions. Well, Cal Milling's players, they played an absolutely terrifying style of basketball that shook the entire Japanese B-League world. Well, the unfortunate thing for GUNMA Crane Thunders, it's been a magnificent season, and I strongly believe they will finish in the playoff spots. But they've had too many injuries that have impacted them. But we'll see tonight how they do up against a very tough UTSUNOMIYA BREX. All the big signings this season, co-flipping 2-time B-League champion who did win with the Chiba Jets and the Golden Kings. And there he is right there. One of the best on-ball defenders you're going to find here in the Japanese B-League. Well, Trey Kitty Jones, his status, of course, has been uncertain as of last few weeks, the injury that he sustained. And we'll just see if we're able to see Johannes Thiemann for tonight's game. But this, you know, full-strength team, they proved for the majority of the season that they were ready to make it to the postseason. Will this team be full capacity, full strength? Flipping very accustomed to the UTSUNOMIYA BREX, because he was a part of that Chiba Jets team that did defeat them in the 2021 B-League Championship when he was teammates with Yuki Togashi and Seba Saez, who does now play for Alvak Tokyo. The head coach Cal Milling very much liking what he saw from co-flipping. It's the on-ball defense. Well, veteran player, 43 years young, Michael Parker will come into the starting lineup. Trey McKinney Jones will return tonight, along with Johannes Thiemann. And one player you will look out for is Yuma Fuji, but also Naoto Tsuji, the 3-point dynamite. There's Tazuki, the big man. They like to call him Zeus here in Japan. Well, a magnificent player back in his day, had a terrific career playing in France. Also briefly played in Japan. He's coached some infamous teams, and he coached one of my favorite teams, Stay Moj. But a B-League champion. Well, now let's enjoy the local entertainment as we get to introduce the UTSUNOMIYA BREX.
それでは宇都宮ブレックス本日のメンバーの発表です。まずはベンチメンバーから No.7 敦也小川 No.12 真珠高島 No.13 彩り渡辺 No.14 Wataru Murakishi. No.15 Yudai Ishikawa. No.18 Seiji Ikaruga. No.33 Gavin Edwards. No.42 Isaac Fortu.
Well, now, fans, it's time to introduce the champions of 2017, 2022, and will the UTSUNOMIYA BREX go all the way to Yokohama and win a third B.LEAGUE championship? Well, basketball definitely has its history, its tradition within the Tochigi Prefecture. This magnificent team, every season in the B.LEAGUE, they've been a top competitor not only in the Eastern Conference, but also the entire B.LEAGUE.
And now, the starting lineup for your UTSUNOMIYA BREX.
Well, an absolutely amazing showcase here at the Tochigi Prefecture. This basketball organization sets the standards. As now we get set to introduce the starting five. Ron Jared, the big man, now in his third season playing with the BREX. Well, there is the veteran player, 40 years young, Kosuke Takeuchi. Well, there's no argument. This man will be in contention for most valuable player this season. DJ Newbill clearly has been one of the greatest, while Yusuke Endo will also make up the backcourt. Well, the final player to come out is that man, one of the best shooting guards in Japan, had featured at the Olympics in the 2023 Basketball World Cup, Makoto Hiejima. Head coach Zico Coronel, of course, taking over from the late, great Kevin Bracewell, who unfortunately and tragically passed away this year. And our thoughts and prayers go to the late, great Kevin Bracewell and his family. Because anybody who knew Kevin Bracewell would say a magnificent basketball coach, but an even greater human being. Well, 3 referees for tonight's game. I'm very proud to say we have 3 of the very finest. Now take a look at the starting lineups for these two teams. Well, the key matchup is Yuma Fuji. He's got a matchup here with DJ Newbill, and that's very tough. Well, now Tosuji will have to go up against another great shooting guard in Makoto Hiejima, but 2 veterans tonight, Michael Parker will see up against Kosuke Takeuchi. Well, Tazuski, well, I just wonder if the BREX are going to try to bring him away from the bucket, because we've seen Ron Jared be a bit of a perimeter threat for a big man. Well, hello everybody. Welcome here to UTSUNOMIYA. As now we're in the final few games of the regular season. The BREX showcasing their alternate city orange colors. And remember, they have the best record, and even though San and Neo Phoenix do have a game in hand, You're going to see the champions of the Central Eastern Conference battle it out for the #1 spot in the playoffs this year. But as mentioned, this could be the quarterfinals matchup, the first round, if things stay the same. UTSUNOMIYA BREX versus GUNMA Thunders. The visitors getting first play. Well, Trey McKinney-Jones back into the lineup now. Finding Tazuski on a bull screen. And quickly finding a bit of success down inside the paint. And, you know, that's where Zeus has got to be aggressive tonight. Well, the BREX did get off to a slow start against Almag Tokyo the other night. But they made their way back in the game, specifically through the third quarter. Because they did attempt 12 three-pointers in the first quarter. It was on their 13th one they were able to convert. There's now Newville. Finds Iajima. He's got a 4-3. Now GUNMA Thunders. Now looking to build momentum. He now finds a 3. This one's up. A great job by Naoto Tsuji just coming in from the corner. Nobody put a body on him, excuse me. Well, Naoto Tsuji has been one of the top three-point shooters. Because most games he's just shooting above 30% from the three-point line. That's not the close to he just getting caught on the box out. That's going to be a turnover. Tsuji just stepping out of bounds. It's not a bad offense. Trying to free up the perimeter shooters. The GUNMA's got to try to make sure tonight they don't live and die by the perimeter, but that's very close, but unfortunately that's the right decision. Well, Newville looking to hesitate. Finds Grant Jarrett. What we talking about coming away from the bucket, but he's not able to convert the 3. Ideally, they're going to try to bring him away to get Zeus outside the key, but BREX have got to capitalize. Tsuji getting a handoff. He's not going to take that from 15. Jarrett happy to see him give it up. But he'll go inside the paint. Oh, that's a good look, but again, the big man unable to find the bottom of the net. Lugo now finding Jarrett. BREX patiently trying to break the defense down. Now they pop Iajima. Uncontested 3 is up. They got the open look. It's a high percentage 3. Iajima just taking his time to get into the game and cook tonight. It's going to be a great battle tonight to see Tazuski up against Grant Jarrett. Uchi pump fakes. Didn't make us laugh. Now goes for the one. Both teams 3-pointless. Good work by Takeuchi. Is now Endo. Finds Iajima. The BREX's offense definitely is predicated from building perimeter shots, but they've got to try to get something in the paint. It took over 5 minutes to get that first field goal against Almag Tokyo. And an unforced turnover. Well, yeah, Wednesday night when they did defeat Almag Tokyo, it took over 5 minutes for them to score in the first quarter. Trey McKinney-Jones still recovering his comeback from injury. Now Tsuji, bit of contact goes in. Well, top shot. May have felt there was a bit of contact there, but he's not going to the free throw line. As GUNMA Thunders, knowing very well they could meet up with the BREX in the first round of the playoffs. Those BREX did lose to Chiba Jets in the quarterfinals last season here at home, and another turnover. Now Trey McKinney-Jones is going to finish this one, and it's a 6-0 start for the GUNMA Thunders. There should be no room to panic. Zico Coronel's players, as mentioned, they trail by as many as 17 against Almag Tokyo, but still found a way back in the game. Well, it's a reach in, but a great move by by DJ Newbill. Just this is McKinney Jones where he's had to battle back. He's not always going to be 100%. I don't think there's anybody else for GUNMA Crane Thunders. Is there? You can see Newbill wide open, finally getting it, and the GUNMA Crane Thunders defense just got caught napping. Quick shot in transition. Pocket trying to battle for the rebound, but BREX comes with it. Now Hiyajima. Looking to ISO here against Tazuki. Fades away in the paint. Smooth move. You sometimes ask the question, does Grant Jarrett spend maybe just a little bit too much picking and popping on the three-point line? I mean, he is a strong basketball player. You would imagine he would have that mismatch against many of the bigs inside the paints. That's going to be a turnover, and I think Naoto Tsuji's trying to protest. The question is, does Coach Cal Milling go for a head coach's challenge? But subbing into the game now comes Gavin Edwards. So I think we're going to have a timeout. There's a head coach's challenge recorded, so we will return in just under 60 seconds.
では今からセンタービジョンに特殊加工いたしましたブレックスのある選手の顔を映し出しますので、どの選手かを当てていただきたいと思います。では参りましょう。響きプレゼンツ Change the Face。さあ、この選手は誰でしょう。お分かりですかね。ではお答えいただきましょう。小川選手。小川選手。では正解を見てみましょう。はい、おめでとうございます。見事正解となりましたので、響より選手サイン入り T シャツと響とブレックスがコラボしたオリジナルノベルティセットをプレゼントいたします。また現在センタービジョンに映し出されている座席にお座りの方4名の皆様にもプレゼントがございます。プレゼントはインフォメーションブースにてハーフタイム以降お受け取りください。なお当選者はブレックス公式 X でもご確認いただけます。以上、響きプレゼンツ Change the Face のコーナーでした。
Well, Naoto Tsuji was adamant that the ball did not come off of him, but the BREX, they will get it back. And now a chance to tie this game up. Maybe take the lead if they go for a three-pointer. Both teams still three-pointless. But here's the introduction of Ko Flippin. And this is what head coach Cal Milling, the reason he brought Ko Flipping in is to enable him to defend the top scorers on each team from the backcourt. Well, Grant Jarrett, case in point, now in the paint. And now we'll go to the free throw line. Fouls on 43-year young veteran Michael Parker. That's a nice spin, but that's what I'm talking about. Big man, I know you're a good three-point shooter, but you are a dominant force in the paint. Well, he's unable to get the first free throw. You have to remember the other playoff matchup that will be on the same side of the bracket as the BREX, potentially against GUNMA Crane Thunders. We could see Alvok Tokyo take on Chiba Jets in the quarterfinals. And then the winner of that series would potentially meet the winner of the BREX and GUNMA Crane Thunders. Jarrett's able to make the second free throw. Still a 1-point lead to GUNMA Crane Thunders. Johannes Tiemann subbing into the game. Now Trey McKinney-Jones. Pump fakes. Finds Parker. Final seconds left. Gotta make something happen with the fadeaway, and that's not gonna go. But Parker battles offensive board. Big man refusing to give up on it. And second chance points. Well, if they're coming from your 43-year young veteran, let me tell you, younger players, you gotta be more hungry. That is the pure definition of a prime-time pure professional. I can't even get my words straight. Well, BREX down by 3. The pass was telegraphed, and now here comes GUNMA Crane Thunders. behind his teammate. Had him wide open in the paint, but they're going to slow this one down here for a good shot. Looking coming off one screen. Now we're in the 7th. That's a little too short. But they get this one yet again. GUNMA right now showing a little bit more hunger. Again, no foul, but it's another offensive board. And the BREX just don't put a body on anybody. How many second chance opportunities are GUNMA going to have tonight? Jima finds another 3. And that goes out of bounds. 3:51 to go here in the first quarter. Watsuo Ogawa, the young 22-year-old, along with Shinji Takashima. As well as Isaac Fotu, the great one, coming into the game. Well, Fotu's probably going to be subbed in for one reason. He's not going to be giving away any offensive rebounds. I can promise you that. Well, quick foul called against Gavin Edwards. Just aggressively hedging on the ball screen. I understand why he's hedging, but you know, Ko-Flippin wasn't really going anywhere. Was there any need to commit that foul? Cal also checking into the game. His biggest moment this season was when he hit that game-winning three-pointer against Shimane Susanna Magic. Kitty Jones bullies his way to the bucket, and it's a 7-point lead to GUNMA. Being heavily defended, and it's another turnover. Well, good to have numbers, but Japan's team doesn't look ahead. They've got to capitalize. The three-pointer would give them a double-digit lead. As now we're over 3 minutes. Flippin's got time. He goes for a tough fadeaway, but he still gets it. Well, the defense sagged off. They gave him many chances to shoot, but he went for the fadeaway. And now it is a 9-point deficit. For them with confidence. Two picks and rolls. Now caught in a double team, but he's got to get rid of it. Well, the BREX at the moment just been shaken up by this aggressive play from GUNMA. Gallup fire 30. The BREX still 3-pointless. The beginning of this game gives you those memories of Wednesday when Alvok Tokyo was here. Now team kicks out. Hasakawa being closed out. That's going to be a long 2. And everything flying in at the moment for GUNMA Crane Thunders. 11-point lead. Kazuki Hosokawa had to go for the tough step back. Is now DJ Newbill. Well, gets the first 3-pointer for UTSUNOMIYA BREX. And could that kickstart the game for the #1 team in the B-League? He's now run to 2 minutes to go. Go inside, but now flipping here on the paints. Post entry down low to Tiemann. Tiemann trying to bully his way in. Tries to step through. It's a tough play by the big man from Deutschland. Just using the bank effectively. I mean, it's such a traditional way of playing the game. Going the post back to the basket. And it's great to see here at the international level the bigs still play like that. Oh, great follow-up by Isaac Fotu. The first time BREX have been able to convert second chance points. And now with just over a minute to go here in the first quarter. Also Calvin finds space, uncontested 3. Again, he gives them the 11-point cushion. Well, BREX made no effort on defense to recover. And you don't leave that man wide open. Tough pass into Edwards, and it's an unforced turnover. So 40.7 left here in the first quarter, potentially. If GUNMA goes quickly, that could go 2 for 1. As now Seiji Ikaruga subbing into the game for the first time for UTSUNOMIYA. Brian Jarrett also checking back into the lineup, as well as Zeus. Caleb Tazuski, excuse me. Well, Zico Coronel did see the great comeback from his team on Wednesday. I think 11 points is not a lot, but he doesn't want them to allow the margin to get any bigger. Tazuski now finding flipping. Sakawa bump fakes goes in. And now BREX come up with it. We're going to cut it down to single digits. They can have the final shot here in the first quarter. Ikaruga, nowhere to go. Finds Edwards in the corner. Three is up, no good. The rebound by Flippin. A little bit of time here for. He forces this one up, and that's not going to go. And that is the end of the first quarter. And GUNMA Crane Thunder leading by 11. Sakawa coming off the bench, making some big-time plays. Well, we will return in just under 2 minutes.
それではこの時間はうまい焼肉虎ノ門プレゼンツフラッシュチャレンジの時間です。本日挑戦していただくのはこちらの方です。よろしくお願いいたします。ではビジョンに映し出される絵柄のうち一番多い絵柄がどれかをお答えいただきましょう。では参ります。うまい焼肉虎ノ門プレゼンツフラッシュチャレンジスタートです。さあ、どの絵柄が一番多いでしょうか。さあ、正解はどの絵柄でしょう。お答えください。
C のブレックスロゴ。
C のブレックスロゴ。では正解を見てみましょう。はい、おめでとうございます。見事正解となりましたので、うまい焼肉虎ノ門よりお食事券3000円分をプレゼントいたします。また現在センタービジョンに映し出されている座席にお座りの方9名様にもプレゼントがございます。プレゼントはインフォメーションブースにてハーフタイム以降お受け取りいただけます。なお当選者はブレックス公式 X でもご確認いただけます。
Welcome back, basketball fans. We're live here in the Tochigi Prefecture. UTSUNOMIYA BREX versus GUNMA Crane Thunders. Currently 11-point lead to the visitors. Well, it hasn't been a spectacular show from the perimeter for either team. But GUNMA Crane Thunders slightly better. Ikarugo's wide open. Final seconds down for Fotu. Ron Jarrett's got to put up a prayer. And the BREX right now struggling for second chance points. Now trying to make something happen. Well, they lead by 11. This would be their biggest margin if they do score. Well, Fuji splits a defense, bumps, draws a foul. It's going to be on the ground. I believe that's going to be on Isaac Fotu. That's intelligent play by Yuma Fuji. Well, BREX just need to kind of settle into the tempo of the game. Fuji coming off another screen. Now looking for Tazuski. Nowhere to go. Asakawa's got to put up a bread. This one contested. And Zeus getting another offensive board for GUNMA. Zeus picks the pop, finds pocket. That is simply a beautiful play, but he's unable to finish. And now can the BREX capitalize? Edwards. I don't know how many air miles he traveled on that one, but it seems like he got away with it. Well, Zeus saying thou shalt not come to Mount Olympus on free travel expenses, but hey, he's got the call. I think he's going to the free throw line, yeah? So great chance for the BREX to chip back into the deficit. Foul is on Yuma Fuji. Well, Gavin Edwards has experience playing, of course, at the University of Connecticut. Also, briefly played in the Korean Basketball League earlier in his career. Represented the Japanese national team at the Tokyo Olympics as a naturalized player. Zeus went in. Here's a foul. And that's not a bad foul because Caleb Tazuski, not the most consistent free throw shooter. But you like to see him be more aggressive, that's for sure. Well, Tazuski makes the first one. He has improved his percentages since the beginning of the season. And he has just been such a fundamental and instrumental piece to Cal Milli's team. The inside physicality presence. And there's not many centers, especially in the international world of basketball, that like to do the things he does. Very great at being such an intangible big. So anytime he's putting up, plus 10 points along with 10 rebounds, that's always a plus for GUNMA Craig Thunders. Well, Grant Jarrett 0 for 2 from the three-point line. Make it 0 for 3. BREX just can't come up with it. Still an 11-point lead to the GUNMA Craig Thunders. Fuji wide open. Three's up. The BREX come up with it, and they throw it back away. Karuga was looking for Isaac Fuji, but he goes to the lane. He missed a wide open layup, but there is Tazuski. Well, Zeus, nobody put a body on him. And that's causing BREX problems tonight. Karuga again goes in. No foul called. Yujima pump fakes. Got to make this one. Finally getting a 3 to go. Well, he almost had a double-double on Wednesday against Alvak Tokyo. 50 points, 7 rebounds. Now GUNMA trying to break down the pick roll. Trying to find Michael Parker, but that's going to be a kickball violation. So GUNMA will get it back on the baseline.
群馬選手の交代です。4番ジョーンズ、9番辻が入ります。
Well, Trey McKinney Jones now finding Yuma Fuji. GUNMA again looking to extend the lead. Tazuski, that's a good move. He's got to finish. That goes out of bounds. BREX will get it back, and that's where the BREX have signified themselves as the #1 team. Defensively, they're one of the best. I mean, they're not as great as Alvak Tokyo Bucks. I'd say BREX much better finding the balance between their offense and defense. Well, Alvak Tokyo only give away 70 points per game. Sometimes they're not always the highest scoring team. It's a great shot by Isaac Fotu. 5-0 run currently for UTSUNOMIYA. Well, Tazuski goes in, gets fouled, but he's unable to finish. You can see Tazuki, the great Zeus, looking so confident every time he gets the ball in the paint.
ファウル33番、ヤベンエドワーズ、2つ目のパーソナルファウル、チームファウルは2つ目です。ファウルブレックス34番、グランドジェレット、2つ目のパーソナルファウル、チームファウルは3つ目です。
Well, Tazuki, if you make the free throw, can extend it back to a double-digit lead for the GUNMA Crane Thunders. Because you have to remember, both Trey McKinney-Jones and Johannes Thiemann, Johannes Thiemann, excuse me, they've really suffered with their injuries. It's a lot to ask them to come back, but hey, it's coming up to playoff time, and GUNMA should be there. But Tazuki's done a magnificent job so far. 6:43 to go here in the second quarter. Now looking to ISO. Oh, almost carried it. Smothered on defense by Code Flippin. 3 seconds now. The boys, the block goes in. Are you kidding me? Well, no help side defense is going to stop DJ Newbill. Another penetration by Fuji. Finds Suji in the corner. It's a bit of a rushed effort, but now here come the BREX. Down by 13 only a few moments ago. 7-2 run currently at UTSUNOMIYA. But it's an unforced turnover now. Tazuki trying to run, goes in. He's got to finish that one. It's a tough play, I know, but he does a magnificent job of running the floor. But here come the BREX again. Oh, another turnover. Ando just telling the defense he was going to go for a three-pointer. And Code Flippin's basketball IQ just too high for that. Well, that's going to be a kickball violation.
Kickball violation.
We like the very European style that Kyle Milling's got this team playing on. Everything is predicated from a pick-and-roll scene. Where the BREX have got to adapt defensively and try to read what Fuji dictates, but also depending how Tazuki rolls and pops. Now McKinney-Jones unable to hit the mid-range. Now we're halfway through the second quarter. People kicks out Shinji Takashima. And again, he didn't bring it down when he caught it. I think they called it 9-1 maybe, yeah. 4:54 to go here in the first half. And Takashima just pulled a Jorge Garbajosa. Where he caught it, he didn't bring it down. Young basketball fans watching, when we see the replay, that is something you should practice. Well, timeout's called. We'll be back in just under 60 seconds.
それではフロライフプレゼンツ T シャツトススタートです。以上、フルライフプレゼンツ T シャツトスのコーナーでした。
Well, final 4:54 to go here in the second quarter. Now remember, these two teams, if the record stays as they are for the final few games, they will meet in the quarterfinals of the B.LEAGUE playoffs this year. This will be the first time for the GUNMA Crane Thunders, while BREX, having one of the two best records in the B.LEAGUE last year, disappointingly losing in the first round against Chiba Jets. And as things are looking now, I can tell you, this won't be a walk in the park for UTSUNOMIYA if they do meet here in the quarterfinals. GUNMA showing fight. Still lead by 5 points. They've led by as many as 13 here in the first half. Well, the foul's be pulled against Yusuke for the hole. I don't think Yusuke has much of an argument. I think Coach Flippin's gone over and just said, hey, come on. Let's have a look at the replay here. Watch Endo. It's 50-50. Team now looking to give this one up. Finds Trey McKinney-Jones. Kicks out in the corner, finds another three. It's up. Beautifully tucks that one away. Now it's Otsuji, one of their better three-point shooters. 8-point lead to GUNMA Crane Thunders. Now Newville finds Brock Derrick. To build better steam here in the second quarter. Much more fluid. Coming from Kosuke Takeuchi. Back in 2006, he was defending Dirk Nowitzki at the FIBA World Championship at Saitama, Japan. He was only 21 years of age at the time. To a 5-point lead. Confidence made his laster again. He's cooking at the moment, feeling the confidence. Oh, catches fire. GUNMA Crane Thunders, they got to keep going. They've got to free him up on offense, finding those open looks. Brock Jarrett's 0 for 3. Now make it 0 for 4 from the three-point line. Goes out of bounds. And at 3:29, it looks like GUNMA Crane Thunders will get it back. I think it's a 50-50 coming together, to be honest. I think it's a good no call. Hachimura. This is his brother playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. Didn't see it coming. Hugo comes up with it, but foul's going to be called against Alan Hachimura. I think Breck's probably asking, why is it not upgraded to an unscreen? Hachimura. I think he feels like he's going to set an off screen for Naoto Tsuji to get him open on the perimeter, but I don't think he realized how wide open he was. Well, Cal Milling's probably asking, why does that need to be upgraded? The referees are just going to go to the monitor just to have a review. Let's have a replay here. Well, he was trying to go set a down screen for Naoto Tsuji, but... You gotta love Cal Milling. If you ever get a chance to meet Cal Milling, he is the nicest guy in the world and a basketball genius. And you watch him coach, he's a competitor. You've gotta love this guy. I think the message he just said is, I don't need to repeat it, but you know what? Shout out to the Milling family. I know they're watching. Your dad and your husband, I'll tell you what, MVP, most valuable person. Oh, Breck's looking to cut it down. Still trailing by 8 points. People thinks about it. Now goes baseline. Quarter double team. Time expiring now as Oka's got to make something happen in and around the defense. But it comes to no avail. Numbers now for GUNMA. Patiently trying to find the right shot. Flipping goes down low. Again, just too predictable. Good still in the end. And Takeuchi gets blocked by the backboard. Here comes up top. Finds Hiyajima. 3 up. Good again. The foul's going to be called against Hachimura. That's going to be number 2, I believe. With 2:09 to go here in the second quarter. 50-50, to be honest. They're both locked up with each other, but I'd say definitely Grant Jarrett may have just had the advantage. It could have gone either way in my mind. Slowed down by 8 points. Finding Makoto Hiyajima. And this is last year. He has a bit of time and space. But again, just the inconsistencies for Makoto Hiyajima. Looking really good in the fourth quarter against Alvac Tokyo. Trey McKinney-Jones caught in a double. Fox team. Moore doesn't take many threes here for GUNMA. The game just going through a barren spell at the moment as a foul is going to be called. Team are just colliding at that moment with DJ Newbill, but the one positive note for GUNMA Crane Thunder is it's only the 4th and final team foul, so it won't be sending DJ Newbill to the free throw line. Well, Michael Parker subbing into the game along with Tazuski, so change coming in for Kyle Millie's team. When we talk about depth and size inside the paint, GUNMA have that advantage here in the B-League. Hiyajima coming off the screen with Fotu. Nice pass down the middle as Fotu goes in. What a finish! And if there was such thing as a basketball IQ, well, Fotu would be a genius. Simple roll to the bucket, manipulates the space, and he finishes in and around intense pressure. I mean, look at that. I mean, he makes a space for himself and he avoids the block from Johannes Thiemann. Well, we'll really see Isaac Fotu this summer at the FIBA Asian Cup. New Zealand definitely need him. Timeout's called. We'll be back in under 60 seconds.
クラップタイムでした。前半戦第2クォーター、残り時間は1分14秒、スコアは27対33、ブレックス6点を追いかけます。
Well, here we go. Final minute 14 to go in the first half. GUNMA Crane Thunder is still holding on to a 6-point advantage against the UTSUNOMIYA BREX. We're live here in the Tojiki Prefecture. This could be the first playoff matchup. The two teams in the standings right now, number 1 and number 8. Trey McKinney-Jones nowhere to go. Finds Tazuski. That's good. Helps defense by Isaac Fotu. BREX could go 2 for 1. Down by 6. Fotu fires a 3. It's open. Unable to connect. Well, why not? Second time lucky. Another three, and again it looked good. Another offensive board. Edwards gets fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. And the foul's on. Is that on Trey McKinney-Jones, I think? He's got to keep shooting those, Isaac Fotu. He's got a good form. Yeah, that foul's on. That foul's on T-Mac, McKinney-Jones. Well, it's going to be a provisional substitution. Kosuke Takeuchi getting ready to come in for Gavin Edwards. Probably to prevent Edwards picking up any unnecessary fouls here in the final seconds. Second one, no good for Edwards. 3 seconds difference between game and shot clock. He's done well to hold on to a lead. They've led by as many as 13 in this one. But potentially only 2 possessions here at the moment. 6 now on the shot clock for Fuji. Finds Osakawa, curls the screen. That's a little too short. BREX happy to let that one go out of bounds, so a 3-point fall. The BREX will get one final shot here in the first half. As Alan Hachimura getting ready to come back in the game for the GUNMA Crackers. Well, no time to waste here for Takashima. It's up from top. Oh, baby! Sugoi! Shinji Takashima, baby! Are you kidding me? Wow. Sugoi, Takashima-san! What a play by Shinji Takashima. Well, that is the end of the first half. They just need to check to see if it counts, but we will be back in just under 15 minutes. The officials just having one final look to clarify, did he get it off in time? Well, just patiently waiting to find out if it counts. I think everyone his BREX teammates are just enjoying how he got the shot off. I think he lost control of it and almost had to force it up as opposed to getting a good look and getting a good follow-through, if anything. Well, he hit some big threes against Alvok Tokyo on Wednesday. He's definitely become a regular top player so far in the rotation. Well, what decision will they make? Yep, it counts. 2-point lead going into halftime. Still for GUNMA. Shinji Takashima's prayer 3-pointer. Well, it's answered. Well, fans, we'll take a 15-minute break and we will return. Or actually, 20-minute break. We'll return for the second half momentarily.
ご来場のお客様にご案内いたします。まもなく場内暗転となります。お席をお立ちの際は十分にお気をつけください。それでは本日のハーフタイムは歴代ブレクシーがスペシャルパフォーマンスを披露いたします。ブレクシーを築き上げた歴代ブレクシーと現役ブレクシーによります本日限りのパフォーマンスでお楽しみください。 ブレクシー。歴代ブレクシーの皆さん、ありがとうございました。皆さん今一度大きな拍手をお願いいたします。 Thank you ブレクシー。
もし綾と結婚してなかったらおいらはこんなに楽しく過ごせなかったと思う。
これは
ちょっと合わないだろう。
相模店でがむしゃらに進んでるよ。
余計なことに縛られたくない。
なりたい自分に向かっていくんだ。ありのままの自分で挑んでいく。栃木 U25 未来。
マニーは安全で品質の高い医療機器を世界中の人々に届けます。 The best quality in the world to the world。 マニー。
実家継いだんだ。
本田さん、
こんにちは。踊らない？
忘れたさ。
体が覚えてるよ。いつがするするの賛成です。
第2章始まる。日替わり007。
あなたの周りに生ポリ。あれもこれもみんな生ポリ。未来を包む生ポリ。
OS はここ栃木県で公共施設の管理運営を行っています。私たちは地域社会に貢献し、スポーツ文化の健全な発展を目指しています。株式会社 OS。
未来を作る、世界をつなぐ、研究と創造のアルメックステクノロジーズ。
吉野石膏はさまざまな視点から安全快適とは何かを模索し挑戦し、相変わらず今日も暮らしを考える吉野石膏。
モンドセレクション金賞売れた育毛剤ナンバーワン。遠近保証付き。
中村土建は地域に愛される企業を目指す。中村土建。家づくりで終わらない、安心安全に暮らせる街を作り、そこでの豊かな生活をデザインする。生活総合産業だからできること。 With You ウッドユー、トヨタウッドユーホーム。
ペドラ B&D 佐野。映画、食事、アミューズメント、フィットネス、ビューティー、ここなら誰もが楽しめる。佐野富士センターから車で5分。フィットプレイス24佐野。会員募集中。ペドラ B&D 佐野。
逃がすか。
俺に何か聞きたかったんだろう。俺は死ぬ気はねえ。
劇場版名探偵コナン赤眼のフラッシュバック。
求められるインフラ で変わる。求められるインフラは地域で変わる。本当に必要なインフラを提供し続けたい。その道のりは険しく果てしない。それでも私たちは地域の未来へパスをつなぎたい。
それではここで B リーグパートナー各社をご紹介いたします。 B リーグトップパートナーソフトバンク、 B リーグタイトルパートナーリソナグループ、 B リーグイノベーションパートナーインフロニアホールディングス、 B リーグパートナーズ日本郵便、 G ショック、日本生命、 B リーグサポーティングカンパニーズソニーミュージックエンターテインメント、モルテ、朝日新聞、日本経済新聞社、大塚製薬、野村工芸社、 EY ジャパン、エニタイムフィットネス、アーシャルデザイン、ストライク、 TIS、 スポーツデポ、ロックアイス、ふるさとチョイス、フィックスプラス、 B リーグサプライヤーアダストリア、 B リーグコミュニケーションパートナー LINE ヤフー、 B リーグスポーツ振興パートナースポーツくじウィナー、 B リーググロースパートナー電通。以上 B リーグパートナー各社のご紹介でした。
タービジョンにはオフィシャルファンクラブグラムレックス会員の方を対象といたしましたサイン会の当選者番号が映し出されております。続いて本日のプレコ2500ポイントサイン会当選者はこちらの方です。当選者の方は試合終了後、試合終了のブザーが鳴った後10分以内に1階ロビーにご集合ください。グラムレックス会員の方はお見逃しのないようお気をつけください。
Welcome back, everybody. Live from the Tochigi Prefecture for Japanese B.LEAGUE basketball as our host, UTSUNOMIYA BREX, currently trail by 2 points to the GUNMA Crane Thunders. Well, indeed, it's been an exciting game. GUNMA's led by as many as 13 points. But the BREX, the #1 team here in the B-League, have found a way back in this game. Well, very similar to Wednesday's game in which they got off to a slow start against Alvac Tokyo, but slowly and surely the BREX have just able to cement themselves in this one. One area GUNMA Crane Thunders dominated, especially in the first quarter, was the offensive rebounding. The ISO mode from two-time B-League champion Ko Flippin, that time going to work against Shinji Takashima. Well, there was a step-back three, the first one of the game for the BREX. Well, they had their inconsistencies from the perimeter, that's for sure, no doubt about it. Well, that was the pick and pop basketball. Katsuki Hosokawa came off the bench and just started to light things up with confidence. Well, that was the block by Tazuski, but here was Hiyajima's first trade ball of the game. Almost had a double-double against Alvac Tokyo on Wednesday. Well, that was a nice take by the MVP contender, DJ Newbill. Well, he's had his frustrations this evening, but take nothing away. He will turn things up in the second half, and Shinji Takashima going Jorge Gabahosa on the three-pointer. Well, Naoto Tsuji as well. He's hit some big-time threes, and that's one thing definitely that's kept GUNMA in front. The perimeter shooting's been much better from the team from Otashi, the Ota City. Well, aggressive take by Isaac Fotu after setting that screen. And here was Takashima's final three. It was almost like a floater. Good night. Ayasu Minasai. Arigato gozaimasu. Takashima-san, the bank was open. BREX Nation, they loved it. And now only find themselves down by 2. Well, we'll take a look at the stats momentarily. Those 5 3-pointers coming from UTSUNOMIYA BREX. Interestingly, I don't think that stat's correct. I think actually it's the other way around with the BREX. Still down by 2 points. Less field goals from within inside the rainbow. For both teams, 19 rebounds apiece here at the moment. Well, I'm guessing that 3-point stat is correct. In case many of those 3-pointers that we assumed they had made actually had foots on the line. But I don't know. I'd have to go back and check through my stats. DJ Newbill leading the way currently here for the UTSUNOMIYA BREX with 7 points. Takashima with his 2 triples makes him number 2 at the moment. Well, Makoto Hiyajima, the Japanese national team player, with that one and only 3-point field goal. Of course, Newbill second in rebounding right behind Kosuke Takeuchi, 40-year veteran. Well, 40 years young veteran. He hasn't played for 40 years, but there he is. His twin brother, Joji Takeuchi, does play for Osaka Vesta. Well, Naoto Tsuji, along with Caleb Tazuski, leading the way at the moment here for the GUNMA Crane Thunders. Tazuski's been a force to be reckoned with inside the paint, but he's got to keep on being aggressive and playing hard. The last time these two teams met actually was in the home of GUNMA in Otashi. Because they almost came back. They were 1 rebound away from a free throw from getting one final shot, and that offensive board for the BREX did call the game off. Michael Parker Jr., the 43-year young veteran, right now leading the way here in terms of boards. But still a relatively low-scoring game between two teams who could potentially meet in the quarterfinals of the B-League postseason. Well, we're going to be now a minute away from returning. Well, the BREX Nation definitely enjoying the occasion. Could a third B-League championship be heading back here to Tojiki? And if they're to win it, they have to make it to Yokohama. Make it to the B-League Finals. But why not Gunma Crane Thunders? Why not now? A new experience with this team. But one thing for them is they do have a B-League championship caliber coach in Kyle Milling. Kyle Milling leading Hiroshima Dragonflies to their first ever B-League championship. Look, it's one thing for sure. Gunma made a great choice by getting his services. A new challenge. Taking a team that could hardly scrape the B-League playoff spaces. Well, they've done a magnificent job this year, Gunma, and it's not over yet. Well, it will be Gunma with the first possession. Still leading by 2 points. Trey McKinney-Jones still taking his way to come back in. Nice play to Michael Parker's. Tazuski now becomes the first player in double figures in this game. And that's where they've got to dominate against the BREX. Only for second chance points. I think a foul's going to be called off the ball, maybe on Yuma Fuji, I believe. Well, yeah, just hogging Makoto Hiyajima. Nugla now with the ball in his hands. Finds Endo. Breaks down by 4 as Nugla goes for a deep 3. Well, they converted 5 tonight. They're still just a little bit unlucky here at the moment, BREX. McKinney-Jones. Kicks out, finds Yuma Fuji. Jones steps back, goes for a deep 3. He's had his inconsistencies tonight. Still they lead by 4. Hiyajima uncontested, going in. Nobody coming over to stop it. The shake by Makoto Hiyajima, making it tough to defend. Tazuki still the top scorer in the game. He's not going to take a three-pointer. Tsuji now. He's made 2 tonight. Make it number 3 for Naoto Tsuji. Well, if he can keep on firing those in, maybe, just maybe, Gunma can have the victory, but which more or less would steal the position because Nagoya Diamond Dolphins right now handing the business to San Antonio Phoenix. Anything possible for Nagoya and Gunma to hit that final playoff spot. Ujima mid-range, no good. 5-point lead to Gunma, looking to extend. Fuji comes off one screen. That was wide open. Nobody going in for an offensive boy. Hugo finding Grant Jarrett. That's a foul. Oh, count it. That's an M1. That's a poor foul to go away. Well, there's a pick and roll. That's a good call. He's in his 1-2 step. Third foul against Yuma Fuji as well, so he's got to go to the bench. So co-flipping coming back into the lineup here for Gunma Crane Thunders. Well, the three-point play converted by Grant Jarrett. It's a one-possession ball game. This game could very well go right down to the wire between these two teams. Foul's going to be called against DJ Newbill. Let's have another look at the replay. It's a quick little trip of the ankles there. Unintentional, obviously, but only the first foul for DJ. McKinney-Jones finding Tazuki. Patient play by Guma Crane Thunders, now extending to a 2-possession lead. 12 points tonight for Zeus. Nice pass coming from Naoto Tsuji. But now Newville, bit of contact. No, it's going to be an offensive foul. Second foul already against DJ Newville, and they're both called here in the third quarter. I think he hooks. Yep, with the left arm. Two-possession lead is now GUNMA looking to further extend it. Tsuji's been on fire. This guy remains unconscious. Naoto Tsuji extending it back to a 7-point lead. Well, he's been cooking, simply cooking. And another BREX turnover. Here come the Crane Thunders. You gotta go to Tsuji. He's been on fire. Defended by Yusuke Endo. Thinks about it. Takes it. Oh, baby! Ayasumi Nasai. Naoto Tsuji is unconscious. 17 points for Tsuji-san. And it's back to a double-digit lead for the GUNMA Crane Thunders. And now a timeout to Zico Coronel and the UTSUNOMIYA BREX.
Let's see.
Well, Tsuji-san has just been cooking, causing too many problems. BREX don't have an answer for him. And now they find themselves down by 10. Got to do something about his three-point shooting. Going baseline. Now turns it over. The foul has been called. It's just becoming a calamity here for the BREX. Maybe having that, superior record here in the B-League just maybe getting to them at the moment. Every great team does go through this, no doubt about it. But they've got to be able to close games out. They did that magnificently against Alvak Tokyo on Wednesday. But they're being challenged by a team who desperately want to get that final playoff spot here for the postseason. Tsuji now being given no time and space. Well, Michael Parker was wide open. Kenny Jones pulling up off the dribble. Not going to finish. And BREX come up with a rebound. Well, they've got to stop building momentum. Oh, they almost turned. Yeah, they do. Sloppy passing. GUNMA have numbers. Tsuji, 17 points. Making 20. He just cannot miss, basketball fans. It is becoming the Tsuji shower. The assist coming up for Flippin. Almost halfway played here in the third quarter. Naoto Tsuji has just turned this into a shooting clinic. Foul's going to be called against Michael Parker Jr. That's only the third team foul against GUNMA Crane Thunders. Oh, look at this, patiently waiting for Naoto Tsuji. And, yo, BREX, they didn't know he had 17 points. You don't leave him wide open. As now Alan Hachimura getting ready to come back in the game for Michael Parker Jr. So his team back in control of this game. Phenomenal work by Kyle Milling. Also, as opposed to Atsuyo Ogawa checking back in the lineup for the BREX. Well, this is a great test for Zico Coronel's players. This could be a playoff matchup. Hugo Bumps goes in, count it. He's going to the free throw line. Well, he's had a quiet night, but here's a chance for them to maybe build on something. Foul's going to be called against Naoto Tsuji. Well, Tsuji trying to say he felt there was a bit of dissent, but I'd say that's a good call. Newbill converts a three-point play. To a 10-point lead. GUNMA's been led by the 20 points of Naoto Tsuji. Second leading scorer is Caleb Taduski. Tsuji pump fakes. Baseline. Well, non-forced turnover. Well, no. Takes deflection, so comes back to Ogawa. BREX don't get it back. Just a slight deflection there, but nobody was in the corner. That's the interesting part. So Hosokawa, another three-point shooter, had some good looks tonight. Subs in to give Naoto Tsuji a breather. Flippin steps in from 19. Tough one. Deep one from Ko Flippin. Kota. GUNMA's got to hold on to this double-digit lead heading into the fourth quarter. Just over 4 minutes here in the third. They've been outstanding in the last few minutes. The confidence they've built from their perimeter shooting, specifically from Naoto Tsuji, has been breathtaking. Eagle hesitates. And that's going to be a 24-second violation. A bit of miscommunication between DJ Newbill and Gavin Edwards. Finds teaming on a back door, and right now defense not existent for the BREX. 4:01, and it is indeed a 14-point lead. Well, Coronel's going to speak it over with his players. Plenty of time left. No need to panic for the BREX, but a magnificent play from Cal Milling's players. Well, could it be mental, physical fatigue here for the BREX? Or could it just be that GUNMA are playing great basketball? It might be a bit of both. Welcome back, fans. B.LEAGUE basketball live here in the Tochigi Prefecture. At the moment, UTSUNOMIYA and BREX just being beaten at the moment by a very hungry GUNMA Crane Thunder's team. There's a nice play down in the paint. That's what we got to get more buckets. Fine Isaac Fotu. I haven't been impressed with the GUNMA Crane Thunders, how quickly they like to play in transition. Hosokawa, another three, but at the moment, they just cannot miss on the perimeter. GUNMA are on fire. Hosokawa's second three tonight. Of course, going back in December when he hit that game-winning three-pointer against Shimane Susanoo Magic. The confidence of Hosokawa. Now Nuba will fire another one, but another offensive rebound. 15-point ball game. He's in one hand, he's unable to finish. Good defense by, that's good rotation, help side defense that time by Johannes Thiemann. You gotta think something's coming, and it's coming from the perimeter maybe. Flipping, no, it's coming from the mid-range, and there it is. GUNMA right now splashing from all cylinders. Ice cold. Well, they brought the rain down from Ota City, Japan, here in the Tochigi Prefecture. Ogawa goes in, gets rejected. Trey McKinney Jones. What a denial. A young 22-year-old sayonara. Goodbye, Ayasu Minasai. Well, the BREX have got to build something here. That's going to remain their possession. 9 here on the shot clock. Well, Yuma Fuji had to go to the bench when he picked up his third foul, but they still are in control of this one. Newbill, got to find something. Good defense by Ko Flippin. Now, does that come off Newbill? I think Ko Flippin's trying to say he didn't touch that one. I think he's got a case. Yeah, that should be GUNMA Crane Thunder's ball. I don't know if it's, yeah, it's a head, well, they've had to use a head coach's challenge. I would say that's a bit unfair to the GUNMA Crane Thunders, but well, it's going to be a ball, I can tell you that. The change is going to be made. And it's going to be what we would call probably an inadvertent successful head coach's challenge, because it shouldn't be one. Quite clearly, this comes off of DJ Nubo. See? Comes off his right leg. I mean, you can put it any other angle you want, but it's very much definitive. The jury's not there anymore, I can tell you. Well, GUNMA will get the possession. Looking to build on this lead as much as possible heading into the fourth quarter. Well, 17-point lead, biggest margin. One thing about GUNMA, the three-point shooting has been a spectacular showcase here in the third quarter. 20 points in Naoto Tsuji. BREX putting on a bit of full court pressure. Question is, are they going back into his own defense? Oh, it looks like a matchup, man to man. Well, this is the BREX final foul to give away. It's on Makoto Hiyojima with 2:12. Jones penetrates. Can't find the angle. No foul called. Now we hit the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. Ikaruga. Good recovery defense on the pick and roll by the GUNMA Crane Thunders. Fotu just so intelligent, cements that position. That's where they've got to draw the foul. So Isaac Fotu heading to the free throw line. Well, I got to tell you right now, when it comes to international basketball, Isaac Fotu is one of the very best at sealing position, finding the position at the double block. And you can see already, they're bringing Caleb Tadzuski to try and handle it. Just getting the first free throw to drop. Can try to cut it down to a 50 deficit. 1:53 to go here in the third. Second free throw good. 10 points tonight, double figures for Isaac Fotu. Tadzuski trying to find Yuma Fuji. Remember, Fuji does have 3 fouls. Hachimura looking for an entry. Fakes the pass down the middle, goes in, and he finishes with the and one. Hachimura-san. Yuma Fuji just said, yes, sir. Look at this. I think he was expecting to throw it down. Well, Big Brother does it in purple and gold with LeBron James. Alan Hachimura right now doing it with Tadzuski, Naoto Tsuji, Johannes Tiemann, and Trey McKinney-Jones in the gold, white, and black. He's unable to convert. Wow. That might be the most interesting situation you'll ever find in basketball. Tiemann had a wide open layup because nobody boxed him out, and then everything just went into slow motion there. I mean, I feel like someone had the Green Infinity Stone by Dr. Strange and just slowed down time, because what did we just witness? Fuji now switched on defense. Got by Quan Derrick. Even now with the mid-range, still can't finish. And now here comes Seiji Karuga. Oh, great move by Fotu now. Interesting debate here. I think there's a case, because it's a great move by Fotu, but does he extend the elbow? Let's have a look. This entry. Oh, yeah. I think everyone in the world knows I'm a big Isaac Fotu fan. And that might be because we're good friends, but I would say maybe he got away with one. Because Isaac Fotu, his brother also plays here in Japan. His father, Manu, a terrific professional rugby player back in his day, who spent most of his time playing in, a great country known as the United Kingdom. Isaac Fotu was born in the city of York, up in Yorkshire. First time I saw Isaac Fotu play was in the summer of 2014 in China, Shenzhen, playing for the New Zealand international team. Coached there by Hero Cameron. They were getting ready for the 2014 FIBA Basketball World Cup. Just a great professional, great person, a most valuable person. A 16-point lead, just over a minute. This third quarter feels like it's gone on for a millennia. It's very powerful to watch. Oh, Hasakawa made his last three. Unable to get this one. Zeus gets the offensive board. Another crack now for GUNMA Thunders. Good go-to for one. Hasakawa, another deep one. And this time, BREX keep the rebounds away. Well, Karuga thinks about it, takes it. Still, the inconsistent three-point shooting from the BREX is just causing too many problems. GUNMA will think if they meet each other in the playoffs, well, make life difficult. UTSUNOMIYA from the three-point line. We'll take care of the rest. 4 to 5 seconds difference between game and shot clock here at the moment. Now Fuji, he'll fire more. Final seconds. 19-point lead. Karuga puts up a prayer that's not going to go. And GUNMA Thunders have really cooked here in the third. Well, we'll be back in just under 2 minutes for the final fourth quarter. It is the GUNMA Thunders three-point cookout.
してマニー株式会社から寄付を行っております。寄付は宇都宮市社会福祉協議会を通じて宇都宮市内の都の居場所に寄付されます。
Well, capacity crowd tonight here at the Tochigi Prefecture, the home of UTSUNOMIYA BREX. Right now, the #1 team in the B.LEAGUE, trailing by 19 to the team 8th seeded in the playoffs. This could be a quarterfinal matchup in a few weeks' time. Well, BREX have got to build something. They've been tested. Hiyajima goes for 3, can't get it. Second chance points going to Grant Jarrett, and that's one way to start the 4th and final quarter. It's been the 3-point shooting that indeed has led the way tonight here for GUNMA. Can they maintain that excellence? Well, Kuki with his last one, unable to score. BREX has got to be patient and calculated. Don't need to rush anything as now Isaac Fotu. There's a take. Now, wide open, Grant Jarrett, 3-pointless tonight. Still can't get it, but another offensive board. Ikaruga again finds Jarrett. Again, this time, finally hits one. And they start the 4th quarter on a 5-0 run and cut it down to 14 points. Timeout's going to be called by Cal Milling. And we'll be back in just under 60 seconds.
さあ皆さん、少し空気が変わってまいりました。大きなクラップでさらにブレックスの空気にしていきましょう。レッツクラップ。
Well, that timeout would try to stop the bleeding, of course. They started the 4th quarter up by 19, but the 5-0 run from UTSUNOMIYA BREX really has challenged things. And Grant Jarrett took 6 attempts to make his first 3-pointer. Oh, and turn it right back over. Jarrett now a little floater. Oh, wasted opportunity for the BREX. No foul called here is Trey McKinney-Jones dealing with the pressure. This time they call against Gavin Edwards. Sideline ball coming up for GUNMA Crane Thunder's 3rd foul against Gavin Edwards. Still don't know why he committed that one. There was no need for it. A lot of respect there between Trey McKinney-Jones and Gavin Edwards. Sideline possession coming up. He's got to be able to not play fearful here. Now going to dribble handoff. Tsuchi, 20 points tonight, tough one. He could have been a bit more patient. Tazuski gets fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. Foul is on Seiji Ikaruga, and here's where I said earlier, the offensive rebounding from GUNMA Crane Thunders has been imperative tonight. Tough 3 by Naoto Tsuji, but Caleb Tazuki, excuse me, my apologies, the mighty Zeus. Just in the right time in the right space, but yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll contest for offensive rebounds. They missed the second one. It's still a 16-point lead. They've got to be able to deal with the pressure. Plenty of time left in this game for these two teams. No need to get relaxed. No need to push the panic button for both of them. Now Hiyajima kicks out. Jared's made 1 3. A little overzealous. Ikaruga comes up with it. Oh, again, Jared. And that's going to be BREX ball. And now's not the time for heroes. Now's the time for collective intelligence. That was a 3. Great follow by Seiji Ikaruga, but Grand Jared just a little bit more patient there. No need to rush. Jared in the paint. Got it by Trey McKinney-Jones. Goes in, avoids the block way off the bottom. Gavin Edwards. Just can't get it. BREX, just nothing falling. And GUNMA Crane Thunder is very happy to let that one go out of bounds. It's just been a very frustrating night here for the #1 team in the B-League. But credit to Caleb Tazuski. He's been terrific. Tazuski coming up for the ball screen. Working with Yuma Fuji. Hachimura was wide open on the dump down, but good recovery defense by Isaac Fotu. Well, there's a prayer. That was the go in. I don't know what else would stop this team from winning tonight. Even with 7-23, they've made some big shots, but good defense by BREX. Well, they need something from Makoto Hiyajima. They've got to get something from the backcourt, and eventually we will see DJ Newble come back in. But here's a great introduction again. Co-flipping. One of the ultimate go-to glue players. Hiyajima finds Ikaruga. He'll fire a 3. Oh, just not going in. BREX really struggling. Just over 3 minutes. Here in the fourth quarter. Another 3 by Suji. He's got to be cold, but Tazuki offensive rebound. And they have it again. Zeus with the Thunderbolt. 15 tonight for the mighty Zeus. A nice dump down. And one Makoto Hiyajima, the chance to chip into the deficit. Potentially make this a 14-point game. Fouls on co-flipping. Well, great eyes, great passing coming from Ron Jarrett. Well, DJ Newble coming back in for UTSUNOMIYA BREX. Michael Parker Jr. also subbing back in for the GUNMA Crane Thunders. Well, 2 veterans, 40 and 43 years young. Kazuki Takuchi also back in the lineup. We cut down a 14-point deficit. Provisional substitution as Makoto Hiyajima is going to leave the game. Yusuke Endo back in the lineup. We'll match up with that man, Naoto Tsuji, leading scorer this evening. Well, the mid-range not going to go for BREX. Scrambling to come up with the loose ball. Down 14. 6 minutes nearly left here in the game. 22-year-old Atsuyo Ogawa also being matched up here by 43-year young Michael Parker. But Ogawa turns it over. Jones had numbers, but Naoto Tsuji not going to rush anything down. He's had a good game, but the contact goes in, and he'll go to the free throw line. The foul was on Kosuke Takeuchi. Well, Tsuji at the free throw line converts them both back to a 16-point lead to the GUNMA Crane Thunders. And he's going to lead the game as Kazuki Hosokawa, along with Johannes Thiemann, sub back in for the visitors. Can they hold on with 5:40 left? Off gets Deutschland, the big man from Germany. He's had a struggle tonight, but this season he has been terrific. He's been left wide open, fires a three. Just not going to go. BREX should get that one back on the baseline. Well, there's a step back again by DJ. DJ buries this one. And could they go on a run? Trailing now by 13. Still time left. Kenny Jones finds Johannes Thiemann. They're not going to want to rush anything here, GUNMA Crane Thunders. Finds Cole flipping. Wide open, uncontested, but he's unable to make it, and a foul's going to be called. That's going to be the second team foul against GUNMA.
ここで第4クォーター残り時間5分を切りましたのでオフィシャルタイムアウトに入ります。
Well, a timeout's been called. Oh no, they called a foul on Isaac Fotu. Incredible. Well, we'll be back in just under 60 seconds. Looks like free throws are coming up for GUNMA.
Let's see.第4クォーター残り時間は4分53秒。スコアは55対68。ブレックス13点を追いかけます。
Well, they get the ball in bounds. There's actually no free throws. The final foul, of course. McKinney comes. Another offensive board. This time Hosokawa comes up with it. Well, BREX scrambling at this point. Down 13. Final seconds. Flipping. Necessary unforced turnover. Still no panic here from GUNMA Crane Thunders. Just trying to hold on at this stage. foul's going to be called here against Copeland. That's only the second team foul against GUNMA. The aggressive play is not too much for them to worry about, but we still have 2 fouls to give. BREX have got to get a bucket here. Flippin trying to get in the face of DJ Newbill. Makes another one. 6-0 run coming from the BREX. Down 10, just over 4 minutes left. Is it possible for UTSUNOMIYA? Home crowd trying to rally behind their team. And the last time these two teams met, it was BREX who led by this amount with this kind of time left. And GUNMA just couldn't find a way back in, even though they gave away an offensive rebound that did seal the game for them. Well, you feel like a 3 now would set the roof off this place. Ogawa. Ball kicks out. Takeuchi's made 2 tonight. Could have made that one. Could have cut it down to 7, but it just wasn't meant to be. And GUNMA just need to wear the clock down. They don't need to rush anything. Kenny Jones finds Cole Flippin. Pump fakes. Finds Michael Parker Jr. There you could see the patience and resilience from the GUNMA Crane Thunders. Now leading by 12. Eagle kicks out. Ogawa thought about it. Now takes it. Save it from going out of bounds, but GUNMA come up with it. Now have numbers 4 and 3. Flippin looks like he's got all the way uncontested, but another follow-up. And now making it a 14-point game with 2:41 to go. GUNMA sending a message to UTSUNOMIYA BREX. If we see you in the quarterfinals, we're going to battle to knock you down. That's another foul here, a mismatch. Flippin getting called for this one. Struggling to defend. The likes of DJ Newbill, 3 fouls are called against Cole Flippin. Well, Grant Jarrett coming back into the lineup. People looking to find Hiyajima. He'll fire a 3, makes it. Cuts it down to 11 with 2:18. Big by Makoto Hiyajima. And he has 11 points tonight. BREX have 1 foul to give. The BREX Nation still trying to rally behind their team. Still voicing their support. The long cheers of pride. Of course, passion from these fans. Final seconds are on the shot clock. Osakawa, another step back, another deep one. But a foul's going to be called against Yusuke Endo. And here is simply where GUNMA Crane Thunders have been too dominant tonight. It's the amount of offensive rebounds they've been able to manipulate over the BREX. Remember, GUNMA didn't have so many injuries this season. They might be a lot higher than they are in the rankings because when they were healthy, they look like one of the best teams in the B-League. Well, it was after playing for Germany at the 2023 Basketball World Cup at Okinawa, Japan, when you had his team and said, you know what, I'd like to come play professionally here. And it didn't take long. This season, swapping him from the EuroLeague last year, where he was also playing in the Easy Credit Bundesliga in Germany. Jared caught a double team. Made 1 through tonight. And it's way off the mark. No backcourt violation. Takes a deflection. Eagle puts up a wild pair of a shot. The foul's going to be called, so it's going to be a trip to the free throw line for Yumafuji. Job might be done. They called a jump ball, actually. Well, timeout's going to be called by Zico Coronel very shortly. As the players now will go over to their benches to get one final word. We'll be back in just under 60 seconds. 1:22 left here in the fourth quarter. A 13-point lead to GUNMA. Well, here we go, fans. 1:22 left. Nobody expected this to happen tonight. The BREX #1 team in the B-League, and after a big victory against Alvak Tokyo on Wednesday, well, they've been outplayed, out-rebounded, out-3-point shot tonight by Yumafuji, Naoto Tsuji, and also Kazuki Hasakawa. Well, they got to get the ball over the halfway line. They do just that. Hasakawa. They're not going to rush anything here. Foul's going to be committed, so Fuji will go to the free throw line. I don't see the point in that foul with 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Because think about it, like if you force them into a tough shot, you get it back and they don't have any points on the board. Now you just let them go to the... now you let them put points on the board. There was no trap in the full court as well. It's almost like you feel BREX may just concede defeat too early here. Matsuyo Ogawa coming back into the lineup at the moment here for the BREX. Just getting many of their young players into the lineup. Chimura also coming back in for McCrane Thunders. So Yumafuji now at the charity stripe with 1:06 left. Chance to make it a 15-point ball game. He's unable to make the free throw. Second one good for Fuji. 14-point lead. So just got it right now. Play for pride. Play to the very end. Ogawa. There's another step back three going. Jarrett comes up with it. He's only made tonight, and just struggling from the perimeter has been the key difference. For BREX, there's no need to foul. There's really no need to foul. The game is more done and dusted, but it has been committed. So free throw's coming up. Ishikawa does commit this one. So we'll send Yumafuji back to the free throw line. Well, young Ishikawa, 20 years of age, a bright future ahead of him, part of the development pathway here at UTSUNOMIYA BREX. So you're seeing more young players. Asano coming into the lineup. This is great. This is what you gotta appreciate about the B-League. It's no longer relying on high school university basketball. There's a development pathway plan for all the clubs. Young players playing for U16, U18, U21. train with the senior team, and adopting the European landscape here in Japan. And that is why Japan's basketball may just become #1 this summer at the FIBA Asia Cup. But Lebanon may have something as well as Australia to say about that. It's going to be a great FIBA Asia Cup this summer. Remember, the B.LEAGUE champion will go on to play at the 2025 FIBA Basketball Champions League Asia. So who will be the #1 club team? That's going to be interesting.
Next ball.
.37 seconds left. BREX is trying to get it in bounds. Not done tonight for Cal Milling and his players. Ishikawa draws a foul, go in. And he'll go to the free throw line. Well, Ishikawa, 20 years of age, getting the run here that he needs. Step up big free throws. This is how pros have got to get used to it, being asked to come into the game at different times. Missed them both. GUNMA, no need to rush anything. Oh, we're getting double teamed. That's playing to the end. Asano giving this one back up. 7 seconds difference, game and shot clock. Another double coming over from the BREX, but it's going to be a turnover. Now BREX will try to get one final play. There's a three, it's up, it's not going to go. Oh, Basel fans, we thank you for joining us, but a big win for the GUNMA Crane Thunders, who look to cement a playoff spot here in the 2025 B.LEAGUE postseason. Well, a great performance tonight from Cal Milling's team. Collectively, they went from the perimeter. They were thunderbolts from the perimeter tonight. Well, we're going to hear from head coach Cal Milling, the game's most valuable player. We'll look back at some of the top highlights and look at the remaining fixtures this weekend along with the stats. But what a great win tonight for the GUNMA Crane Thunders. Well, I don't think it should be any argument. The MVP for tonight's game could very well be Naoto Tsuji. He was terrific tonight. Not only did they come here and win, well, they dominated. BREX, maybe it's the mental, social, psychological anxiety of knowing they have trying just to hold on to the #1 position. But hey, that's a standing state. If BREX remain #1, this will be the first playoff matchup. These two would meet again. This victory makes things very, very interesting to say the least. Well, the GUNMA fans made the long journey from Otashi, the city of Ota, in the prefecture of GUNMA. No doubt they'll be looking forward to a playoff run. Well, we're going to get an interview very, very soon with head coach Cal Milling. And as mentioned, we'll also hear from the game's MVP, which I've got a feeling is going to be Naoto Tsuji. Which, if it is, we will get it translated into English. Well, these two teams, they will meet tomorrow. Well, there you can see the players just doing their lap of appreciation as we get ready to interview the head coach of the GUNMA Crane Thunders as well as the team's MVP. But, well, the next game as well, as we mentioned, will be tomorrow. These two teams will be back in action as they look to take things back on again. But here's Coach Cal Milling. Let's listen to what he has to say.
ヘッドコーチお疲れ様でした。 Konnichiwa, arigatou gozaimasu.
チャンピオンシップのかかった大切な試合だったと思うんですけども、その辺踏まえて今日の試合のね解説お願いします。
Every game's super important right now to try to clinch the playoffs. All the players and staff are really motivated. Tonight we came out with good concentration. Missed a few shots in the first half, but we played well. And to hold BREX to 61 points is really good.
プレーオフに進出するのにすごく大事な試合ではありましたので、選手、スタッフともにすごく集中できていたと思っています。でその中でももちろんいくつかミスしてしまうショットもありましたけれども、その中でブレックさんを61点に抑えることができたのは良かったと思っています。
自力で、チャンピオンシップを決めたいところではあると思うんですけども、なかなかブレックスアリーナで2連勝というのは正直難しいところもあると思いますが、選手でねどういった声をかけするのかちょっとお聞かせいただければ願いますか。
We talked about before the game, it's a playoff type game and it's playoff type weekend. So if we want to do something in the playoffs, we're going to have to win back-to-back on the road. So we got to concentrate, come in tomorrow and be ready to play.
プレーオフに進出されるために大事な試合でもありますし、今日みたいな試合は本当にプレーオフで起こりうる試合だというふうに選手は話をしていました。でその中で選手もしっかり集中して自分たちのやることをやってくれたと思っています。で、今日の出来は良かったので、これをまた明日同じようにできるように頑張りたいと思います。
コーチいつものやっていただいてよろしいですか。
Bonjour à toute la famille en France. Giulietto, tu me manques. Je t'attends au Japon. Mais Minasan, we need one more win for playoff. Ichisan. Minasan, Ichi-ni-san, Gunma, Ichiga! Hey!
ありがとうございます。
Well, there you heard from Cal Milling. One more win, and you saw the reaction from the GUNMA Crane Thunders fans. Just one more win, and they will solidify a playoff spot in the B-Leagues. Well, you saw the message to his wonderful family. Goes to his playing pro basketball in Serbia. His wife is back in France. It's a family man. Let's listen now to Naoto Tsuji, the game's MVP.
ご無沙汰してます。辻選手、今日スリーポイント9分の6ということで、全然少なかったと思うんですけども、いかがでしょうか。
なんちゅうこと言うんですか。もういっぱいいっぱいです。いや本当もう流れを作れたかなと思うので本当入ってよかったです。
はい。いや本当はねホームでこのお祭り男3をね皆さん見たかったと思うんですけども、まあ明日もね大切な試合だと思いますが、すみませんちょっと短くてファンの皆様になんか凄まじい一言をお願いします。
いや本当アウェーですけど本当たくさんの方が応援に駆けつけてくださっているので本当に心強かったですし。この残り3試合ですね、今日含め4試合、本当に僕らも CS に出るので、CS に出たらもうこのブレックス相手になるかもしれないので、その CS で本当に嫌な印象を与えないといけないって思いもありましたし、CS に向けてのこの4試合というのは非常に大事な4試合になるので、ここからもう尻上がりで、勢いづけて戦っていきたいと思います。
はい、ありがとうございます。辻選手いつもの一丸やらなくて大丈夫ですか。
僕のやつじゃないんで、
失礼しました。はい、大丈夫です。明日も頑張ってください。はい、
ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。はい、ありがとうございました。
Well, terrific performance tonight from Naoto Tsuji, who really just shot the lights out. He was three-point dynamite. Well, we will get that translated to what he said very, very soon. But, very soon we are going to take a look at the highlights from this magnificent game. And, these two teams, tomorrow, 3 p.m. local time here in UTSUNOMIYA in the Tojiki Prefecture. But what a journey it's been for these GUNMA Crane Thunder fans. Well, they've struggled to be playoff hopefuls for a very long time against a team with a third title championship aspiration. Well, GUNMA took a very early 6-0 lead. It took the BREX a little bit of time to get going into this one. But one thing for GUNMA, as we saw early on, converting turnovers into fast break points. The return of Trey McKinney-Jones, along with Johannes Tiemann, has definitely inspired them. But tonight it was about the backcourt three-point shooting, as well as the offensive rebounding by players such as Caleb Tazuski. And then was Trey McKinney-Jones. Well, we're going to get it translated to what Naoto Tsuji said. So first of all, a big shout out to my colleague, Kazuya Nishikawa, one of the best here in the B.LEAGUE. Well, the words from Naoto Tsuji were, I could make a nice movement today. What he meant by that is to get open. And of course, getting open is very key to hitting wide open three-pointers. And, you know, he had a big message to the fans. Thank you for coming today, making the long journey from the city of Ota all the way here to UTSUNOMIYA. They really want to advance to the playoffs. And as mentioned, it will take one more victory to do that. Could they do it tomorrow? And his final word to everybody, of course, from the GUNMA Crane Thunder fan base, a big arigato gozaimasu. Well, of course, they know how important it would be to make the playoffs. They got a championship caliber coach in Cal Milling, and they've been terrific this year. Well, the BREX, could this be the first playoff matchup for them to meet GUNMA Crane Thunders? That would be very interesting. That was a three-pointer by Shinji Takashima. And that was a pump fake, and Tsuji just went on a three-point barrage. He couldn't miss in the third quarter specifically. He just made them pay. Well, there's Isaac Fotu's play. Simply too tough to handle, but... Well, here was the final three-pointer by Shinji Takashima. This cut it down to a two-point deficit. Banks open. Count it.
Takashima.
Well, that was the performance from Grant Jarrett tonight, but here became the Naoto Tsuji three-point cookout. This guy just couldn't miss this evening. Well, he was the big difference in the third quarter, no doubt about it. They just didn't have an answer for him. Look at the rejection. Trey McKinney-Jones telling Atsuya Ogawa, sayonara. The GUNMA fans love that one, and here was Hachi Morgan in the ab one. Taking a hard bump from Isaac Fotu. And here's another one. Final three of the third quarter coming from Yuma Fuji. In the fourth quarter, even though Grant Jarrett was unable to get this one, second time he was lucky. The assist from Seiji Ikaruga. I believe he was 1 for 8 tonight from the three-point line. Really struggled this evening, Grant Jarrett. Tazuski fighting, and just, you know, the second chance points really paid fruition tonight. And one coming from Makoto Hiyajima against Ko Flippin. And here was a three from DJ Newbill. Another quiet night for the guy chasing an MVP award. And Ko Flippin going behind the back. The pump fake. Michael Parker Jr., 43-year young veteran, wide open. BREX's defense just caught chasing, caught ball watching. Well, we'll take a look at some of the key stats here from this game. And in the end, 9 crucial three-pointers. And I said to you, GUNMA, they're known for being over 30% from the perimeter. BREX tonight finishing 23%. Well, the rebound count just going in favor of GUNMA. Both 16 offensive boards. And it was enough to get over the final hurdle, that's for sure. Well, the turnovers, BREX's turnover count, just way too high for a team that's trying to be number 1 here in the B-League. 15, but credit to GUNMA. GUNMA had less than 10 turnovers, and that tells you a lot tonight. Well, the transition buckets, the fast break points, the bench points, all going in favor of GUNMA Crane Thunders tonight. 19 field goals from inside the rainbow. It's just fair to say, GUNMA played great. They were the better team, there's no argument. Well, we'll take a look at the game's leaders. We'll look at the leading scorers, leading rebounders, as well as who led the assists. Oh, quiet tonight for DJ Newbill, leading the UTSUNOMIYA BREX of only 13. While they went to Naoto Tsuji, who only made those 2 free throws in the fourth quarter that made him the leading scorer, 22 points in total. Tazuski, unbelievable, 15. Just an absolute beast. Well, we'll take a look at some of the key leading rebounders tonight. Tazuski, 2 boards away from a double-double. Gavin Edwards, 7 rebounds. Makoto Hiyajima had 7 in the victory against Tokyo, only 5 tonight. Of course, impressive from Michael Parker Jr. Well, facilitation, you can see 9 assists from Trey McKinney-Jones, only 5 for DJ Newbill. Makoto Yojima 3 times himself, and Ko Flippin 4 impressive assists tonight. Yusuke Endo also chipping in 1. Well, there are your leaders. The head-to-head matchup very equal between Shinji Takashima and Ko Flippin. Both players with 6 points. 2 3-points coming from Shinji Takashima, but 3 rebounds and 4 assists for Ko Flippin. I think it's fair to say that he won that battle, as well as taking the victory home tonight here for the Gunma Crane Thunders. Well, we'll take a look at the upcoming fixtures very shortly here in the B-League. It's going to be an exciting game tomorrow between these two teams. Koshigaya up against Ibaraki Robots. Alvak Tokyo hosting Kawasaki. Nagoya Diamond Dolphins against San Antonio Phoenix. Saga Balloon is hosting Osaka Vesa. Nagasaki Velka will go up against Kyoto. Ryukyu Golden Kings on the road against Shimane Susanoo Magic. Defending champions Hiroshima Dragonflies take on the Shiga Lakes. Mikawa Seahorse is another team going in the wild card. Will be against Fighting Eagles Nagoya. If the records stay the same, this is how the playoff look will be. But it all depends. Will San and Neo Phoenix overtake UTSUNOMIYA BREX as number 1? We'll find out. There are your B2 standings. Which teams looking to try and give themselves a chance to get into B1? No longer the promotion relegation scheme anymore. But we will see. Kagoshima have been sitting down with their new coach from Spain. Kumamoto Volters as well, along with Achubi Chiba. Well, fans, unfortunately, it's that time of day where we must say goodbye to you. We thank you for joining us here at UTSUNOMIYA. But for now, it's good night, goodbye, and God bless from the Japanese B-League. Thanks for joining.